Hey everyone, welcome back to another plan with me. And this week we are going to be using this kit from my Etsy planner sticker shop. And this one is called Game of Life. It is inspired by the classic board game Life. And I am a huge board game fan, and I knew that I definitely wanted to make a kit inspired by this one. So if you would like to purchase this kit, I will have a link to it down below. So as promised, the topic for today is where I left off in my last plan with me, which was a little bit of like a vacation horror story from one of my last few vacations over the last few years. Now I actually have a big vacation horror story, but that one I will not be talking about. So this one's more about my experience with staying at like a mega resort or like a mega condo for the very first time. And this one was I think it was in 2022. And I have to say, this was really one of those experiences that, for one reason or another, I thought it was going to be a really great time. And then there were just so many things that you might not consider if you had never stayed at this type of place before. And so I just thought if anyone else is planning any vacations or anything like this might be some helpful tips to keep in mind if you ever find yourself in this situation as well. So starting off, the first thing, I will not be mentioning like where we stayed, number one, because I honestly can't remember like the name of the place. It was I think it was in Orange Beach. And I do have to say, Orange Beach wasn't my favorite. No shade. I'm sure it's a lovely place. If you live there and you love it, I am so sorry. I do not mean to offend you at all, but it just wasn't my favorite of all the beaches that I've been to before over my entire lifetime. And I don't know, there was just something about it, and I'll kind of get back to it. And maybe it was just the time that I went or whatever it was, but I don't know. I just didn't have the best time there. However, most of it was actually related to the actual place that we were staying, which was like one of those, like I said, a mega condo situation. Definitely one of those places that were very, very huge. Like I'm talking like 30 floor type of high rise type of condo situation. And of course, if you have any type of experience with staying at these kind of places, you might kind of like spot this from a mile away, but this was just something in my naivety that I had not considered before. But this was actually the first vacation that I ever took with my boyfriend and his family. He had gone on a couple of vacations with my family before, so this one was all on his family. And once again, they also had not been on vacation in, many years, long time. Maybe not ever. And so the topic had come up that, hey, maybe we should like do a vacation this year. And once again, like I said, my last plan with me, I'm typically the person that like whenever these things come up, I kind of like naturally fill that role of like planning things, because I know that with a lot of cases and a lot of company, if someone doesn't step up to take the initiative to plan something, it will just never get planned. And that was definitely the kind of dynamic in the situation as well. So I kind of took it upon myself. We really didn't have any idea of where we wanted to go. So we just kind of like, we're looking at places online and stumbled upon one, and we're like, hey, this one has like a lot of cool features. Maybe we should stay here. So that was definitely the first mistake, but you really kind of can't learn unless you like experience it. So it was definitely a learning experience. But like I said, we stayed at this mega condo, and we found this really cool condo, and it was like on, I think maybe like the 24th floor, which I didn't think anything of it, because at first I was thinking like, oh, well, it'll be really high up. So, it will be relatively quiet. You won't hear much noise from like ground level, obviously, with being that high up. And then of course, like the whole room situation was perfect. It had just the right amount of rooms, just the right amount of beds for our like vacation party. So it worked out pretty well as far as like the logistics of like the sleeping arrangements and all that. Had a kitchen, had a cool balcony. So it's like, okay, awesome. It's got all these things that we like. So in addition to that, there was also a indoor pool, an outdoor pool, and like a lazy river, like all right there on the beach. And so at the time, that also sounded like a really great idea, because we also had like a preteen with us. And, obviously like when you're going to the beach, like you want to go there for the beach, but sometimes it's nice to have like different options. So that was the one thing where it was like, okay, we can have like the indoor pool, the outdoor pool, lazy river, or the beach. We can kind of rotate between all of that and figure out just whatever we feel like doing in the day, or maybe doing everything. There'd be times where we'd like go to the pool, then we'd go to the beach, then we'd go to the lazy river. So all of those aspects of it was pretty good. But one of the issues that was really, really just absolutely undeniably a problem, and you might have already guessed this, But the elevator situation was absolutely a nightmare. In this really large mega condo building, there were 6 elevator bays. Now, the problem with the elevators is that they would get extremely congested during busy hours of the day. I would say like if you got up early in the morning, it really wasn't a problem. If it was late at night, typically wasn't a problem. But, during the day, the lunch hour, 10 o'clock anywhere to like 4 o'clock, it was always pretty insane. Now, like I said, this was like a 30 plus floor resort building. So there's definitely a lot of people that are trying to get in the elevators and get to where they're going. And being at the 24th floor, I don't care if you are a marathon runner. Unless this building is on fire, there is no way you are going to be casually walking up 24 flights of stairs up or down during the day, multiple times a day. So honestly, it's like, oh, well, you could just take the stairs. It's like, yeah, you could take the stairs if you're on the 6th floor, but if you're on the 24th floor, that, I don't care how fit you are, that is pretty insane. But the wait for the elevators was incredibly long. You would have queues of people waiting at any of the 6 banks. And sometimes, I'm not going to lie, it would get kind of ugly. There would be people who would like cut in line and like as soon as an elevator door opened, they'd like snake in front of you and run in there. And the problem is that the elevator system would stop at any floor that the elevator was called to, as an elevator works. But the problem is that the elevators would get maxed out, like error, siren ringing, this elevator's not moving until someone steps off this elevator. And so the problem with that would be that every time the elevator got full, which was really quickly, I mean, you get to 2 stops between people getting on and getting off, the elevator was at max capacity. But since the elevator was called to each level, I mean, you might have gotten called to like 12 different levels. The elevator stops at every level. And if that's not where you're going, nobody's getting off. The elevator cannot take more people. And so the elevator would open up to, let's say, level 15, and it's already maxed out trying to go down. So when the elevator comes to level 15 and opens the door, there's 20 people standing in front of you with no space for them to go. So it was just a nightmare. And then, you'd go to level 10, same thing. There's a whole group of people. No one's getting off. We're all trying to get to the ground level. And so the elevator system was a little bit flawed in that way. And believe me, I'm not an engineer or anything. So I'm just a girl with a problem talking out loud. So I don't know anything about elevator engineering. But to me, I almost wish there was some kind of like mechanism in it that would sense like if the elevator was at max capacity, it would only go to like ground level to let people out. Or something like that, because there was so much time. You would be riding an elevator for like 25 to 45 minutes, like honestly, easily. That's how long it would take you to like get from ground floor to like level 15 and up, or, whatever floor you're trying to get to, vice versa, going up or going down. And so that really was like the crux of the problems that we ran into. It was just honestly something that I didn't consider. And I did kind of like I said, take the reins on planning this, and no one really kind of knew what they wanted. And so it's just kind of like, well, here's a suggestion. What do you guys think? And, everyone went along with it, and we all definitely learned from that experience. And I definitely think that like if we were on a lower level of that condo, like if we were anywhere like level, like I said, probably like 6 and below, you really could have just like skipped the elevators completely and probably not had that much of a problem, because the higher up you were in the condos, you definitely had like the farthest to go, and that's where a lot of the issues ran into. But like the condo unit itself was lovely. It was perfect. The actual like resort kind of had like a lot of stuff to do, which is awesome. But honestly, if you were any higher up than like level 5 or 6, it was the nightmare situation definitely came from the elevators. And then don't even get me started on the parking garage. Once again, we kind of found that since we were like staying at the condo for like the whole week, we weren't really like going out every night places. So it worked out that we kind of figured out if we were staying at like level, whatever you want to call it, 24 or something, 22, whatever level it was that we were actually on. Since we were not like going in and out of the condo very much, we went maybe like twice to get groceries, but we found that it was better to park all the way at the very top of the parking garage, because then we could kind of skip all the lower elevator issues. But then if we ever did need to like leave, we had to go down like 30 looping around the parking garage, which was definitely very dizzying, I will say, as well. But yeah, so those were really like the two main points of contention, was just the elevator situation, the parking garage, with being on such a high level. And we definitely learned a lot of things from that vacation. So I have definitely decided that even though it had a lot of really cool amenities like the pool, the lazy river, all that kind of stuff, I definitely would absolutely never, ever, ever stay in a like high-rise condo kind of situation like that ever again. It honestly just wasn't worth the headache of the actual experience of like trying to get down to like ground level and stuff like that. So if anyone else has also been through a similar situation, then you definitely know my pain. And like I said, this was not really anything I would have ever, I guess, thought about beforehand, because it just wasn't something I thought about until I was in that situation, and definitely wouldn't make that mistake again. So yeah, that is my little vacation nightmare story from when we went to Orange Beach. Oh, and then the last little thing about the beach itself. I felt like the beach was like super steep. It had like a steep drop, which I didn't quite like, because most of the places we had been, it was like a very level, gradual kind of beach. And then of course the beach was just extremely busy and packed, with it being that many people, which that of course I knew. But the other thing, I think it might have just been like when we went, or a storm had come in maybe weeks before or something, but there was so much seaweed in the water, and I had never been to a beach where there had been that much seaweed. Like, it would just like get into your swimsuit, it'd get into your hair, and then it smelled horrible. So I don't know if that was just like the typical kind of beach experience with that particular beach we were at, or if it was just like a storm or something that had like dredged up a lot of seaweed. And yeah, obviously there's seaweed at the beach, but I had never come in contact with seaweed to this caliber before. So that was definitely another one that really kind of was not the best experience. But like I said, you guys, this is no hate to Orange Beach. I just didn't have the best experience there, but I'm sure it's a really lovely place. And these are just my opinions on one particular vacation there. And it was a really beautiful area. But I've definitely realized I really prefer more of a low-key area, which I definitely have found. And it's just kind of like one of the best kept secrets. So sorry about that, but I will be keeping that secret. So that is it for this plan with me. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe. You can follow me on social media. Links are below. And until my next video, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.